What's something you saw as a kid but didn't realize was messed up until you were older? Every Friday night when I was 9, my mom would drop me at Uncle Pete's house while she worked her late shift at the hospital. Uncle Pete wasn't really my uncle, just my mom's friend from high school who lived in our neighborhood with his 3 cats in a house that always smelled like cinnamon air freshener and microwave popcorn. I loved going to Uncle Pete's because he let me stay up late watching movies the other kids at school talked about. Movies my mom said were not appropriate and would give me nightmares for weeks. But I never got nightmares at Uncle Pete's house. I was too excited about being treated like a grown-up. Our little secret, Uncle Pete would say, handing me a bowl of ice cream bigger than my head with extra chocolate syrup drizzled on top. Your mom works so hard and she's just trying to protect you. But you're mature for your age. I can tell you can handle it. I'd sit cross-legged on his living room floor, eyes glued to the screen, while people got shot, stabbed, or chased by monsters with bloody teeth. The living room would be dark except for the glow of the TV, making everything feel more intense. Sometimes there were scenes where people were kissing and taking their clothes off that made me feel weird and squirmy, but Uncle Pete would just laugh. Cover your eyes if you want, he'd say, but he never fast-forwarded through those parts like my friends' parents did during sleepovers. Instead, he'd watch me watching the screen with this little smile I didn't understand back then. When particularly scary scenes came on, I'd hide my face in a pillow while Uncle Pete took pictures with his fancy camera. Your face is priceless, he'd tell me. I'm making a scrapbook of movie night reactions. Someday when you're older, we'll look back at these and laugh at how scared you were. I was secretly proud that he thought I could handle these grown-up movies. When other kids at school talked about Freddy Krueger or The Exorcist, I could casually mention I'd seen them too. It made me feel special and older than my age. Sometimes Uncle Pete would invite his friend Gary over. They'd sit on the couch behind me, talking quietly and laughing at things I didn't understand. Gary always brought me candy that my mom never bought. Those sour worms that made your tongue hurt, but in a good way. She's so into it, I once heard Gary whisper to Uncle Pete during a movie. You were right. One Friday night, my mom picked me up earlier than usual because the hospital was short-staffed and she got to leave early. Uncle Pete didn't hear her knock because the movie was so loud. A scene where a teenage girl was running through the woods from a man with a mask and a chainsaw. She used her spare key and walked in during a scene with the girl screaming while the masked man stood over her. I'll never forget my mom's face when she saw what was on the TV. Her eyes got really big and her mouth made this tight line. She didn't yell like I expected. She just grabbed my hand, very calmly told Uncle Pete, "We won't be coming back," and walked me to the car in silence. The next day, she sat me down at our kitchen table and asked exactly what movies we'd watched and if Uncle Pete ever acted strange around me. I didn't understand why she was so upset about some movies when she was the one who left me there every week. He said, "You know I'm mature for my age," I told her defensively, picking at a loose thread on my sleeve. He takes pictures for his scrapbook when I get scared, and sometimes his friend Gary comes over and brings me candy. My mom's hands started shaking so bad she spilled her coffee. She called her sister, who came over right away. They talked